Hey folks, Dr. Rob Jones here, heydrrob.com. So you're wondering why I'm holding a foam roller here? Well, this is one of those apparatus that I love for certain areas and I absolutely hate for other areas. Okay, so I was at the gym a couple weeks ago and I see this a lot, and that person, unfortunately, doing what they were doing at the gym while they were squatting really kind of turned the light bulb on for me to do this mistake of the week backbreaker, and that is foam rolling your lower back. Okay, now what I want you to do, I'm going to include one of my previous videos on this. If you look back at this video, I'm at my whiteboard and I talk about what makes muscles tight in the lower back. Okay, if you haven't strained your muscle, which typically we don't do, it's usually some sort of disc issue that most of us have. Okay, we've bent over too much, we've done backbreakers, we've done the wrong type of moves. So neurologically, what is happening is that disc is pushing out. It's triggering a proprioceptive nerve response. It's going up to the brain. The brain is sending a signal back down to your paraspinal muscles to make them tight, okay? Because it's trying to protect itself because it thinks that disc is going to come out and damage the central nervous system, mainly the spinal cord. So what I see at the gym periodically, and what this person was doing, and I actually helped him out a little bit because I just didn't want him to hurt himself, is he clearly was getting back tightness while he was squatting. Okay, so what he was doing is he had a foam roller, he would do a set of squats, and then he would get down on the foam roller, and he would roll out his glutes right here, which is totally fine. That is zero problem at all. The problem runs into when you get into your lower back. So he was on the foam roller like this, and he was rolling out his back, going side to side, right through here, and it actually feels kind of good while you're doing it, but the problem is your lower back is an unstable structure, okay? You actually don't want to put your lower back on the foam roller because what happens is there's no ribs down in your lower back the way there are up through the thoracic spine. So your lower back can literally buckle over top of the foam roller, and what's actually happening is, yes, you're loosening up the muscles temporarily, but just like backbreaker stretches, when you get onto a foam roller with your spine, you're actually cueing the brain that the spine is actually under load and it's actually going to get injured because it's unstable in that position. So again, you're getting back tightness if you're squatting because you're out of position, okay? If you squat too deep, okay, I'm going to use a kettlebell here, but you always, we talked about this over and over and over again, you want to keep lordosis always, okay? Now, if you get into a position where you're squatting, and if you focus in on my belt here, you'll see my lower back, my belt will start to tip backwards right there, and I can actually feel a little stretch at the bottom of my spine. What's actually happening is I'm getting out of lordosis and I'm getting into what's called a posterior pelvic tilt. Powerlifters call this butt wink, okay? I just call it lower back strain or alordosis. Doesn't matter what you call it. If you feel a little stretch, which I did because I've got a couple of bad discs, or if you visualize and see this happening in the mirror, your bottom disc is actually opening up and now you're creating disc bulging. What that is doing is it's triggering the brain to tighten up these spinal muscles. So what do? You get down there and you roll and you work out those muscles a little bit, but then you go right back to the next set like this young guy was doing, and he bulges his disc again, and now he's into this vicious circle, okay? So number one is don't butt wink, okay, when you're squatting. I don't care how strong you are. You never want to lose lordosis, okay? You always want to keep your spine in its neutral position. And for me, that's my depth right there. I can't squat any deeper than that. Well, I can, but if I do, I'm gonna hurt my back. So this is my functional range right here, okay? Now, if you're a power lifter and you need to get a little bit lower, then yeah, there's some things we can do. We can do hip mobility, thoracic mobility, that sort of thing, okay? But for guys like me who are close to 50 and you're just squatting because you wanna be strong and fit, that's your functional range. So if your trainer, your strength coach, or your child's coach or sports trainer or whomever says, you've got to squat ass to grass, or you've got to squat so you break parallel. Maybe it's true for somebody whose hips are flexible enough, but for the rest of us who don't have that kind of flexibility, you never want to break that lumbar position. You never want to leave lordosis, and you especially don't want to foam roll your lower back muscles. Okay, so if you're getting that tightness when you're squatting, when you're doing some sort of activity, assess your lower back position. If you squat and you feel a little stretch or a little bit of posterior pelvic tilt, you're getting out of lordosis, you're breaking that disc down, you're creating some bulging, it's making your muscles tight. If you do want to do a little foam rolling to loosen up your glutes, let's do that. So basically, we'll get here, put the muscle on stretch, roll around just till you get the top of your iliac bone here, so you can do all through glute maximus, which is the main part of your glute here. You can get into glute medius and minimus, which is over to the side here. When you find a spot that's a little tighter, hang out there and do a little bit more work on it, okay? This is good to do after a workout. You don't want to roll during or before a workout, because just like static stretching, this is actually going to put your nervous system to sleep. Right now my brain is getting sensation that my muscles are getting stretched, and it's going, oh, time to rest. You definitely don't want your glutes shut off prior to putting some load on you like a squat bar, okay? Another way you can do some foam rolling to loosen yourself up is get in your thoracic spine. So find your bottom rib, which is right here, and know that you do not want to roll past that. You're only wanting to be above that. So you can cross your arms here, tighten your core just a little bit, and you can find some tight spots and roll through them. This is perfectly safe. You can pull your shoulder blade out of the way, roll out your intrascapular muscles a little bit on either side, okay? And then if you want to actually do some joint mobilization, I do this a lot with patients who have thoracic pain. We drop the hips down, bring the elbows in, and we just arch back. And this is actually great for mobility through the thoracic spine because it's designed to move. So there you go, folks. That is backbreaker of the week or mistake of the week. Foam rolling the lower back. You don't want to foam roll the lower back. If your back is tight, it's probably because you're taking it out of position. Do some press-ups instead, okay? If you're squatting and you actually get a little bit of back tightness, or you get some of that disc symptom, you probably should do some standing extensions, do some press-ups on the ground, okay? And that will pull the disc back in. But again, be mindful of the lordotic position and you should be okay. You can use the foam roller for your glutes, thoracic spine, and other areas, but again, do it after training because it's going to put your nervous system to sleep. So there you go. Hopefully you like that. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and keep following me for more backbreakers and more tips. And again, we're going to keep your back healthy. So until next time, don't forget to protect your back.